I've heard this man say before, you can't have a world-class city without a world-class uptown area. And it was Don Edwards who coined the phrase uptown rather than downtown because you told me one time it just sounds more positive. Is that right?
Well, we had some trouble with downtown, and we thought up was up and down was down. But I'm not really sure I should get full credit for that. Sometimes
I know that was you. That sounded just like you.
But anyway, things are really uptown, so we're excited about it.
Yeah, Frank Dooley, our lead writer for our new website, GreenvilleHeadlines.com, has been featuring so far it's a 4-part series. He's got more coming, all the great things that are going on in Uptown Greenville. And, Don, let's face it, it's been a struggle, not unlike many cities that made some decisions in the 70s, to create a mall area. I remember downtown Norfolk, Virginia did the same thing. It looked like, when all these shopping malls were going out into suburban outlying areas, the downtown areas thought, well, the answer to this is to create a mall atmosphere in downtown. It turned out to be a disastrous decision for many, many cities, including Greenville.
Yeah, right. Many cities did that, Henry, and it just wasn't. You think, hey, let's make a mall, that'll fix it. It just made things worse. You're right. And I think in '98, we did a lot of study. We raised a lot of money in the private sector. That was one of the things about our downtown program years ago. In order to take out the mall, Ron Kimball, we all remember Ron, a very talented.
I was just talking about Ron this morning.
What a talented guy. And he said, as steward to the taxpayer, he said, you know what, you need to raise some money to do this in the private sector. Then we can combine it with public money, because the worst thing you can do to the taxpayer is put in a mall, pay for that, then pay to take it out. You're talking about something that's not very popular. It's not. But we raised about $350,000 in the private sector with bricks and lampposts and naming opportunities, and took out the mall. We studied a lot of downtowns back then, and each and every case when the malls were taken out, things got better. And that has happened for us. It's taken a while, but things continue to get better. And really, we're at a tipping point. We continue to connect the dots to become a great place. And now those dots it's like you connect the dots to become a picture. We're right there. We're excited.
And we have some natural opportunities. We are a college town. So there are some natural opportunities that go along with that. But again, getting to that college town feel in downtown Greenville again, I know it's been a goal of yours for a long, long time, and other folks. And it's taken some time to get it back there. It was there when I came here in 1971, but we lost it. And now I think it's finally coming back.
Well, Henry, what drove me, what has always been my passion, is as being in the bookstore business. We had an age group swimmer. As a fan of ECU, I'd just go to these other towns, and they were fabulous, these great college towns. And then we would visit great places, like with some of the chamber trips. We went places like Columbia, Missouri, Charlottesville, Athens. And I've always felt there was no reason Greenville couldn't become a great college town. And one of the things that I think is lost in all of this, because we do get criticism, and I've got thick skin and a great attitude, so you don't mind the criticism. But right now, when we do this, the real winner for Greenville will be the taxpayer, because just like we've talked about, I still call it, it's recently been named, but I'll call it the Tom Taft Jim Ward project. That project is a $40 million project on 4 acres. That's $10 million an acre. And that's what all these other downtowns have done, Raleigh, Durham, Asheville. They've created an enormous tax base. So for those, we do get money. There's controversy about that money, but we've got a lot of great people who are working to create outstanding tax value for our citizens.
I think, and I really believe this, and I'm prone to saying what I really believe, but I really believe that for the first time, probably since the 70s, that I have a sense that the downtown, uptown Greenville area is right on the edge of exploding and becoming something different from what we've seen. You talk about the huge project that the Taft Ward project. I mean, that we use the term transformational, Don, but that really is going to be kind of a transformational, change the whole area project.
Well, there's both big things and small things going on, and I'd say medium size. On East 5th Street, we've got our Superblock project. That project is already fully leased. We can't provide all the details, but we've got.
Now tell us. Now give us a little sense of direction on that. When you call it the super block, I've heard it called that before, and I know where it is, but a lot of folks may not. Give us some landmarks that people might recognize.
Well, an old landmark you may recognize is the attic.
The Jolly Roger.
Yeah.
From my day, the Jolly Roger. You know.
And right on East Fifth Street, the first block when you come into downtown from the university, the north side of the block, it's the 200 block of East Fifth Street. We got a group of investors together. We couldn't purchase the property. We tried our best, so we ground leased it for 99 years. And let me tell you something else that's happening, Henry, and I'll give you credit for this. There's a collaborative effort and a spirit with ECU that has reached a higher level. East Carolina has more flexibility with their leasing rights, and East Carolina stepped forward on this project to anchor it. Like if I'm going out and saying, Henry, you need to invest in this project, and you say, well, who are our tenants? Well, if you say East Carolina is our tenant, that will get you that's a great tenant. It's obviously a stable tenant. And East Carolina stepped forward and will be moving the registrar's office right into the Uptown area, right on East Fifth Street. And we'll do a tremendous adaptive reuse. Another advantage for our taxpayers is, as you know, the state does not pay property tax. When we went to Athens, Georgia about 5 or 6 years ago, the president of Georgia stood up and said, wow, Athens has got a big problem because University of Georgia is so large. The state does not pay property tax, and that makes it hard on Athens. So when we renovate the property in the private sector, use tax credits, it creates a very reasonable rent. The renovations are done in the private sector. That's better than them being done through the state process. And then that building gets added to our tax base. So the university stepped forward in an unprecedented manner and anchored this project, and now the private sector is filled in, and we're renovating when we finish, it'll be about 35,000 square feet of space on East Fifth Street, add to our tax base, and create a beautiful and safe Uptown.
It's unbelievable what's happening up there. Congratulations on all the work, and thanks to the local developers and you have to say to some of the elected officials, too, who had the vision to help with this. You talked about the tax incentives being somewhat controversial, but I was struck by Tom Taft's comments during our Greenville Community Forum when he talked about what was going on in other communities to stimulate growth in these areas that need growth stimulated. And it's you whether you like it or not. And no one's a bigger protector of the taxpayer money than I want to be. But I also think that the way to make things happen is through relationships with the private sector to create a bigger tax base, and that's exactly the idea behind some of the things going on in downtown right now.
Well, Henry, look at it this way. If you've got a project and there's basically no property tax on 4 acres, and then you create $40 million worth of tax base, but give a break on the taxes early on, all you've done is create more taxes. Right. Nobody's a loser here because you're getting a whole lot more taxes than you used to. Those figures are important. These projects are hard. The numbers are tight. One of your line item expenses when you do a project like that is your property tax. And if the numbers don't work, you can't get the financing.
Right.
So if there's an incentive to do this, to me, it's public-private partnership. It's coming together in the middle, and it's I just commend everybody involved in all these projects that are taking our town to a higher level.
Businessman, entrepreneur, visionary, Don Edwards, our guest this morning on Talk of the Town. What else can I call you? I talk often about when I think back on people who left their mark on Greenville. And we just have done a lot recently to honor Leo Jenkins. I put your dad in that category, but it's interesting. You're the second generation. And I believe that it would be wrong to say you've carried on his legacy. I think it would be accurate to say that he motivated you to take the legacy to a new level.
Well, Henry, thanks. We all miss
and I loved your dad.
Yeah, I know. And he loved you, Henry. And I want to turn this around. I just want to thank you for all you do. Sometimes it's hard to be in the limelight. I think you like being in the limelight, but that's the both good and the bad.
What makes you think that?
but it, sometimes it's not very much fun.
Yeah.
And your service to our community for the last how many years? Henry and I are about the same age, so why don't we say for 40 years?
You're a lot older than I am.
I think 6 months is exactly what it is. But yeah, thanks for saying something about my dad. He taught me a lot. He loved life and had more fun than anybody I knew.
He was a great guy. I still, someone will say something that'll stimulate a memory about a story that Jack would have told me. But and now you got a son,
Yep.
just like I do, and and he's involved in your business. That's
They're about the same age, and he runs. He's the day-to-day guy on our rental, all of our property management.
All right, let's talk about some of the things that Frank Dooley's been writing about on GreenvilleHeadlines.com. You've got a lot. We talked about the Taft Ward project, which is the big student housing project that's coming. In addition to that, you've got the Wright School of Music, which just had their grand opening this week, and I missed it, unfortunately. You got the Longleaf Brewery, which is, and not much has happened on Dickinson Avenue, but this is going to be a new project that Thomas Taft is involved in on Dickinson Avenue. And we also had a story recently about the Apogee organization, which is the Apple computers company. In Uptown Greenville. There's a lot of great stuff happening beyond just the student housing developments.
Well, as I said a minute ago, Henry, there's a lot of big things happening, a lot of small things happening. One more thing, and I want to be kind of a little bit cautious on this. We're working on this hotel, too. And that'll be another one of the big things. And I can only say at this point that land is under contract by people in the hotel business. The due diligence is being done. And we're working on that happening as well.
Can you tell us more about that?
I hate to say I can't, and
Can you just tell us approximately where there will be a hotel in downtown?
Well, somewhere
we've talked about that forever.
Well, and that's one of the challenges with downtown development is finding property to build a hotel. It's not the easiest thing, and then getting somebody to sell that property. It's just like on our project, we couldn't get the people to sell it, so we ground leased it. Mm-hmm. But I can say right now there are going to be meetings next week, and we're looking toward the east side of Uptown, and we certainly think this is...
East side of Uptown. Help me with that.
The east side of Uptown is the side of Uptown. Our project on East 5th Street, very near that. I think our project is served as a catalyst for that. And one other thing, Fitzgerald's...
Well, now, you say our project.
Now, when I say our project, I mean the project that I've been working on is the super block.
That's okay. So you're involved in that project.
I am actually involved as an investor.
That's the attic area.
That's right. And a manager of that project. But that again is a true collaborative effort.
Right.
There's an LLC that owns that project. Investors in that project. Great people that have invested, just like the Bargers, just like in Frank's story, who've said, you know what, I'm going to invest in my community. I'm going to make it better. My return may be better somewhere else. But then you add in the historic tax credits. It becomes a good deal for the investors. And why not invest in your community instead of China?
Sure, absolutely. Don Edwards, let's see. I was about to ask you something else, and it slipped my mind. Give me a second.
The location of the hotel?
Give me a second. Oh, yes, the location of the hotel.
Well, we're looking at some areas right toward the east side of Uptown. That's as much as I can elaborate.
Up near the old attic area.
Yeah, up in that area.
Okay. And now, would this be a boutique hotel? Would it be a name brand hotel that we would recognize? Or?
I would call it a branded boutique hotel.
So when you say that, I think about maybe like a Hilton Garden Inn.
I think that's probably, that's probably a good guess.
Are we?
But
Are we? Is it bigger?
No.
Am I getting warm?
Well, let's put it this way. I'll say this: the hotel specifically has yet to have a flag. It's undetermined exactly what flag will be.
But that's the kind of hotel you're talking about.
That's the kind of thing I think we'll get. And, you think about, here's what happened with us, with our kids in college. We would go to great university towns. We talk about traffic. We would arrive in a great downtown. We'd park our car. We'd stay in a hotel right beside campus, and we would walk to great independent restaurants. And that is what is getting ready to happen more and more uptown. And
it seems like it's taken a long time to get there, Don, but it sounds to me like you're almost there, my friend. And you got the parking deck, too. That's been controversial, but I think that's a good move.
Well,
You
the
know,
parking.
you got a $5 million project. It turned out to be about $5 million. Is that right?
I think it's 4.9. Is that right?
Yeah,
I think that's where we are.
Where we're going to have a parking deck in downtown. A lot of people don't like that idea. I actually think it's a good idea.
Well,
go ahead and send me more emails if you'd like.
And Henry, the reason we think it's a good idea is there'll be a great collaboration of business and community leaders who will be working on our tax base. Then you go vertical. All great college towns have parking decks right beside it. You create more and more economic development, and then ultimately, I talked to. All right, let's compare Asheville and Wilmington, two areas that we say are maybe slightly ahead of us in terms of population, tourism. They now have 5 parking decks or so, and last year Asheville turned $600,000 of parking deck revenue over to their transit division.
Nice.
So ultimately, we hope we can make money on this, but it is a catalyst for economic development. It's a catalyst for tax-based improvement.
This is all very exciting. It's great to have you in here. I got one more question, and then I'm going to let you go. When will we hear more about this potential hotel?
Hopefully within the next few weeks.
See, this is breaking news right here. I do not believe that's been in the media anywhere before.
Well, there have been people.
It's been talked about forever,
Right.
but nothing as concrete as what I'm hearing you say.
And Henry, clearly the due diligence process is underway, and we all know as business people that due diligence can cause some headaches. But we're very confident that we'll get this done.
That's very exciting.
About to talk about Fitzgerald's. Elaborate
yeah,
more on that
we
because
never finished
I don't know a lot about that restaurant. Is it a chain or what's it about?
Fitzgerald's is, I would say it's a small group of American taverns with an Irish twist is what they call themselves. They have locations on Franklin Street, right across from the Granville Towers location. They have a location in Uptown Charlotte. I've been to both of those locations. They will be an enormous asset both to the daytime and nighttime scene. $500,000 is going to be spent renovating the building. It's exactly what we need to continue to improve our late night.
Good stuff.
All right, Don Edwards here live this morning. Really good stuff, Don, and we could not appreciate it more. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you.
Henry, thanks
Good
for
to see
having
you.
me.
And look,
It's always-
congratulations on the success and all the hard work. You've been at this for 30 years trying to do something different with downtown Greenville, and it looks like there's a lot of good stuff finally coming to fruition.
You're right, Henry, and thank you for all you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming by.
Okay,
Good
good.
to see you.